Hello, hello. Welcome to the fourth week of the Down with the Draft weekly stream. It's a day early today, but hopefully that's okay. I'm going to be a bit out of commission tomorrow, and we didn't have prices anyways the last few Thursdays, so I think Wednesday should be okay. We have a schedule now for the first week of the LCS, which is really, really exciting. Um, we'll go over what we learned in the semifinals and finals of the lock-in tournament. We'll go over what we're looking forward to in week one, and some things to look out for. There was a lot of really good games this weekend. If you played the lineup that we built together last Thursday, there's a very good chance you finished off making some money. I, as anyone saw on Twitter, missed out by zero point zero 0.03 points from winning money. 0.03, which is the equivalent of 2 minions. It's actually 0.04. That'd be the win. 2. So we watched, let me look at my academy lineup last Thursday where I finished 0.08 from the first place and then 0.03 the next day from cashing. It's been brutal, but we'll be okay. We're in some games today in academy. We're doing fine. But we'll look forward to the LCS. That's what everyone cares about, right? Academy's great. It's fun watching Kenvy. Let's talk about LCS though. So we'll get started and we'll talk about what happened on the championship and what happened in the semifinals. I'm going to get rid of this song. I should get rid of that one altogether. As always, if you have any questions, any comments, put them in the chat. We had some really good stuff happen last week, and we will let's get it started. So we'll start off with a recap, start off with the Friday recap. So Friday was the first semifinal game, best of 5. It was 100 Thieves versus Cloud9. The quarterfinals were as expected, right? We had 100 Thieves win, Cloud9 win, Team Liquid, and Evil Geniuses. And Cloud9 stumbled game 1 at the beginning of game 2. They kind of ripped through everything else after that. So, is there something wrong with Cloud9? Is TSM better than we think? What's going on there? We'll find out here. Thank you. So find out what we have here. And it started off with 100 Thieves taking a pretty dominating 2-game lead. It didn't even look close. It looked like it was going to be an easy sweep. 3-game lead. 2-game lead. It's best of 5. 2-game lead. Looked like an easy sweep. Wasn't going to be close. And Cloud9 storms back. Had some weird comps in there. But they made it look good. And they fought their way back from the 0-2 down to 3-2, taking the series away. It was a combination of 100 Thieves not slipping up, but maybe not adjusting appropriately. But the biggest thing was Blabber did great, Sven did great, Vulcan did great, Perks looked a lot better, which is really good, and ultimately those all kind of add up to a really good showing. I think Fudge still had some problems here, and we're going to talk about that in our downloads and down on this week. But Fudge has struggled a lot to the point where I'm wondering if Cyan Spartan isn't someday going to be coming up to the main roster and replacing him, because it's early. I don't want to be too quick to react, but he's been looking pretty rough. So either way, Cloud9 comes back, make the finals. This is great. The question then is going to be, who are they playing? So the next day, Saturday, is Evil Genius versus Team Liquid. You guys know I've been kind of down on Evil Geniuses for a while. I was high on them week 1 of lock-in. I said that I think that Impact's going to be good. I said that I think Suzuki's going to be good, and I paired them up down with. But I didn't think they're going to be this dominant throughout the series, throughout the whole tournament. And they look good in the first playoff game too, series. But Team Liquid came and showed up and whooped on them, right? Evil Geniuses, I think, had a pretty easy first series too. Against Golden Guardians, who just let Niles be a little too aggressive and you go after him. I think Niles is going to be good, but he's too aggressive right now. And Evil Genius has punished him. They go as Liquid, has a much more comprehensive draft. They have a much more comprehensive game plan. Santorin on the Udyr was really good. And they're just skilled in every lane, and they're coordinated, and they have a good coach, and they draft well. Team Liquid's got everything going for them. So they kind of rolled Evil Geniuses 3-0. Wasn't really that close. Evil Geniuses, I think after watching that performance again, and with the FlyQuest loss, they're back where I kind of thought they were, right? That 4 or 5 slot. I had them solidly at 5 behind Team TSM. I don't know where I put them now. We're going to see what happens at the end of the year. TSM has to work some stuff out. They have a very, very different team, so I get why it's taking some time, but they got to figure it out soon because Eva Geniuses looks like they're about to knock on the door, 4th place. Not that that matters too much because everyone makes the playoffs, but like 2 teams, so see what happens. And then we have the finals. So finals are obviously Liquid and Cloud9. What's going to happen here? Team Liquid takes a clear lead again. Take a very early lead, and we're back to watching. Is this going to be a big comeback from Cloud9? And it was very close, but not quite. Team Liquid is just too good. I think Alphari just didn't give Fudge a chance to even breathe. And then, they have a great jungle bot lane support, but so does Team Liquid, and they'll answer that back. Udyr was really interesting. Jensen played well. Everyone played well on Team Liquid. Even the games they lost, it seemed more like Cloud9 playing a step up than anything. To be fair, Fudge in the finals, Blabber kind of trolled them by taking 2 unnecessary towers, which allowed Alphari to teleport. Yeah. And Blabber has to get double buffs. Yeah, there's some coordination things that have to happen there. I think part of the problem is that Fudge has played as the strong side for a long time. The Academy has a strong side, even with Palafox and Diamond. He was the strong side play every single time. Everyone play through top. Cloud9 plays through bot now because Ven and Vulcan are fantastic. Blabber can really get them rolling easily, and Blabber can also play the carry role and prefers to. So I think, Blabber shouldn't have taken it was a bit of a coordination problem, but the bigger problem I have is I think Fudge needs to learn what his role is right now. He's no longer that carry option. They don't need him to carry. They have the talent to have other carries all over the place. Play your role. Play it safe. And the Lulu play, I thought was a good role for that too. Play it safe, shove the lane in, become a supportive role. I like the idea. I don't know how seriously they're taking the draft either, so we'll see what happens there. But all in all, Cloud9 look good. They look like they have a lot of promise there, and I think that they're going to end up being the 1-2 team. I don't think there's much question there because they looked shaky all tournament long, and they still finished in the finals, which should say something about how good they are. They still finished in the finals with Perks taking a while to get rolling, with their top lane being a big question mark. They beat everybody until Liquid. True, but Sven is a great sign-up player, which was just naturally weak side. That's true too. But I also love the fact that they paired up the really interesting bot lane with Sven and Vulcan, not having a traditional ADC, going with the Taric and I'm blanking on her name, Seraphine. I liked it a lot. Thought it was really unique. If anyone's going to bring out these weird kind of memey bot lanes, see how they work, it's going to be Cloud9. And I think it's really interesting because it reminds me a lot of what Cloud9 did, or sorry, what G2 did when Perks first went to the bot lane. You brought in an interesting dynamic, different champ pools, different play styles, and I like that a lot. I think Cloud9 can end up keeping people back on their heels by keeping you guessing there. Their champ pool is going to be a big strength of them. They just got to figure it out, right? Any team that we're questioning, like, oh, they're struggling, oh, they're not doing this, they're drafting poorly, and they make the finals and almost win it, that's a good team in my book. So I'm looking for them to really solidify themselves as a great team. So were they really? I didn't realize that. There you go. Learn something new. But either way, I think that the bot lane of Cloud9 is going to be a strong side. Actually, I think, honestly, the whole LCS has a lot of good, strong bot lanes right now. Between FBI Huhi, Sven Vulcan, obviously Tactical and Core JJ, definitely an Ignar maybe. I don't think they're up on that tier, but they have a lot of potential there. I think there's a lot of good bot lanes. I think Sword Art, if they can figure it out in TSM, Sword Art can help move Lost up to another level of play. I think even Johnson and Diamond, when they're hot, they're hot. Like, I think there's a lot of potential for some really good bot lanes on here. Obviously, you have your big three that kind of dominate everything, but there's a lot of really good tier 2 bot lanes out there. So that was a tournament. Team Liquid wins. That's great. It's kind of like that intro tournament. You don't know how serious people are taking it. Seems like they took it pretty seriously. Seems like they want to get rolling, and they looked like they rolled really well with their complete lineup last week, and it looked fantastic. I think any team that's going to draft that well and play that well individually and be that coordinated out the gate gives me a lot of hope for North America in Worlds this year. I've said it before, and I've been wrong before, but this year I do feel like they have the individual talent and the coordinated talent to make a dent in Worlds if this is their strength and if they keep on improving on this too. So we'll start looking forward to the first week of the regular season. Some water. So week 1, we got 5-game slates now. The problem with lock-in was there were 5 games, but one game was always a team playing twice. That's a problem for DFS. We only need to play a 4-game slate, then you never play the 5th one. It makes it tough to get really original. I mean, 4 games you can do it, but it's the same as like an LCK LPL stack. 5-game slates now. I'm excited. We get to get really unique, really original, pick some good picks we like a lot. And for Friday, we have TSM vs FlyQuest, Team Liquid vs Immortals, Evil Geniuses vs 100 Thieves. That's going to be one to watch for sure. Golden Guardians versus Cloud9, and CLG versus Dignitas. Now, the first thing looking at this is I think Evil Geniuses versus 100 Thieves will be great to watch. We didn't see them play. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch them go up against each other. I think they match up really well because you have the really aggressive behavior of Jizuke and the very selfless play style of Diamante. And I think it's going to be really interesting to watch that ebb and flow. Both strong bot lanes. I think 100 Thieves is stronger. Both good top laners. I think that Sunday's better. I think everything I look at, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. But I just think that 100 Thieves edges them in everything. Maybe not pure mid lane, but I think that Diamante will play a game that it puts him ahead because that's what he does. So that's Friday. We'll talk about some people we're down with and down on here too, because some really interesting matchups. TSM FlyQuest, 2 big question marks right now coming out of lock-in. But let's go to Saturday. So for Saturday, we have FlyQuest Evil Geniuses, rematch of a big upset. Dignitas Team Liquid, 100 Thieves versus CLG, Cloud9 versus TSM, and Immortal versus Golden Guardians. The first thing that stands out is there's no top teams duking it out right now. There's no Liquid, 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, Cloud9 playing each other. But Cloud9 versus TSM will be interesting because TSM did take game 1 off them in the knockout series. Immortal versus Golden Guardians. You know, I know they're 2 probably lower half teams, but I think they both show some interesting promise. I think Golden Guardians have a lot of potential with Iconic and Niles. And Blazal looks great. I think that Insanity shows a lot of potential there too from Immortals. There's a lot of things that I tend to like both those teams. Obviously, we're not going to be watching the first place fight, but it'll be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of blood there too. Dignitas Team Liquid. I mean, I don't see how Liquid doesn't win that one. And then FlyQuest Evil Geniuses. I think Evil Geniuses wins. I think they got punched in the mouth the first time. It won't happen again. But FlyQuest on blue. We'll see what happens. The blue side upsets have been the trend. Also 100 Thieves or CLG, same thing. CLG took them down in a very long, very bloody game. We'll see what happens this time. I don't think they'll take it nearly as lightly. And then finally on Sunday, we have FlyQuest versus Team Liquid, EG versus Golden Guardians, Cloud9 versus Immortals, COG versus TSM, and 100 Thieves versus Dignitas. This is going to be, I think, a lot of blowouts, actually. I think this is gonna be a hard one to play on Sunday. And sorry, it says Friday. I have to correct that. I think I noticed that last week and didn't correct it. Sorry about that. This is gonna be a very hard slate to play on Sunday because it's gonna be hard to get very different. You have EG, Cloud9, 100 Thieves all on blue side against people they should beat, and then you have Team Liquid against FlyQuest, who I think they should beat no matter what. The only thing I think could be kind of interesting is CLG versus TSM. I like the idea of CLG making some changes. It sounds like they're not going to be on Pole Belter this week. I don't know why. I think Pole Belter is a great addition, but I like the fact that they're willing to make changes early in the season rather than wait till it's too late and then start making adjustments. Then also, you get the game plan on the blue side against TSM in a best of 1. That can be bode well for you. I think Finn should be here now, I believe. I don't know if someone can check that for me, but I believe Finn should be here and be able to play. Brox still is a no. I think Finn's going to have a really good time against Huni in the top lane. Could be really interesting. So the next thing we're going to go through is who we're down with, who we're down on. Now, obviously, we don't have prices here, right? So we're going over the DraftKings estimate of where they're going to be. These are people who I really like and I want to start a stack with, whether it's a 4-3 stack or a 4-2-1 stack. I want to start with these 2 players each time. We'll try to cover one from each day. So the first one we're down with is FBI versus Hui, or FBI and Hui. And the reason is, I mean, I feel like pretty obvious. I think that definitely is a little overhyped right now. Ignar's good, but I think a lot of what makes Ignar so great is he's random and he's really different. And I think he struggles with that behavior when he plays against a Core JJ or a Huhi, who's going to be able to predict that really well and kind of counter that in a bit too. I also think he hasn't been able to roam the way he wants to usually, because definitely has been their strong side. So I think he's been kind of stuck there, which is a little uncomfortable for him. It's worked out because they've gotten such big leads, it didn't matter, but I do think there might be some struggle there. What I find most interesting here is I think that FBI and Huhi might be the third costed bot lane. I think that Team Liquid versus Immortals and that Cloud9 versus Golden Guardians are going to be higher priced, probably a lot higher priced, I think. And FBI Huhi might be steals here. I definitely look to start a stack off of them. Maybe you don't want to look at Sunday against Impact. I think that he'll be fine, but Impact will play a more conservative game if he feels like he's behind. So I maybe wouldn't want to go up to top, but I do love the idea of starting with your bot lane, both duo, and then work from there. Maybe not a team necessarily, but I do think something like a Demonte and Closer could be a really interesting pair there to start your 4-stack with if you want to go with them as your main 4-stack. If you want to go with them a 3-stack or 2-stack, I still say FBI Hui, throw in a Closer maybe in the 3-stack, and the 2-stack you're already done, the 4-2-1. So we'll keep on going there. That's a really good one though. I'm really interested in that setup. They might be highly owned because of their cost, but I think people are going to be really high on EG, so they might not get a ton of ownership there. Next one we have is Dardoch and Soligo. This reason is purely because we don't know what's going on with CLG right now, right? Brox is not there. Finn should be there, but there's no guarantee yet. And Polbelter's getting benched, it sounds like. It sounds like a lot of things that are in flux, and it sounds like a great opportunity for Soligo, who is a really aggressive mid laner, to get out there and fight, and Dardoch to kind of take it to them on a brand new top laner, or that's kind of a weird coordination point. I'd want to avoid the CLG bot lane because they've been together while Turtle knows this thing. And I'd say I'd look to start stacking somewhere in the top mid jungle first and kind of work my way down. If it fits, it fits. If not, I do think this can be a really interesting one. They are on the red side, but I think there's going to be a lot of really interesting picks, especially if the mid lane. Mid lane doesn't get a whole lot of prio bans out right now, so I think you might have some good openings there. And Dardoch, as long as you keep CLG off for Renekton, I think you could be okay there. So really interesting, cheaper stack to go with. I think something like having a 100 Thieves stack with Dignitas, you'll probably be under your budget, be able to 4-3 stack that up, and might have a bloodbath on your hand, which would be really interesting. Both teams like to go out there and fight. Dignitas has a lot of deaths and losses, a lot of kills and wins. So we'll see what happens there. 100 Thieves is the same way. Moving on to Saturday, we have Zen and Vulcan as our first pairing. And the big reason is because I think, again, they're going to be underpriced. You're going against TSM. I think they outmatch TSM 100%. I really do. But I also think that they're going to be the third-ranked people because, again, Liquid's winning Dignitas, bit of a weaker bot lane, and you have Tactical and Core JJ, and 100 Thieves goes in Chronologic Gaming. Chronologic Gaming won that the first time. I don't see it happening the second time. Even if it does, there's a chance that Deathly and Ignar might be challenging that price with Zen and Vulcan because TSM is considered a harder matchup. I don't think it is. I really don't. I think if TSM wins that, they're not winning through bot lane. I think they're going to win through the mid lane and through the jungle. Maybe in the top lane. Maybe Huni outplays Fudge a bit more. But I think the bot lane, they're going to concede that. They're playing weak side bot all day long. That's what I would do if I was TSM and say, let's just get something else rolling instead, because I don't want anything to do with Vulcan right now. He's on top of this game, and Sven's right there with him. And Blabber will be bot. He will take a carry pick, and he'll go bot all the time. So I think it's going to be a really interesting pick. I don't know how much blood there's going to be in this one. Last time, they had blood. TSM was really aggressive early, and then they kind of got in the back heels, and they didn't fight as much anymore. I do think that Cloud9 being on the blue side can just roll them, and it makes me a bit nervous. So I'm looking to stack them, but I'm thinking they're going to be closer to the secondary stack, right? Not my 4 stack, probably my 3 or my 2 stack, honestly. The next one we have Saturday is, I mentioned earlier, Niles on Iconic. Man, I love them. I think they're great. They're going to be low costed. They're going to Immortals, which is going to improve their cost a little bit, but they're still Niles on Iconic, right? You look at the top lane jungle duos, and I have to imagine Evil Genius will be ahead of them. Liquid will be ahead of them. 100 Thieves will be ahead of them. Cloud9 will be ahead of them. TSM probably ahead of them. maybe Nox are on his Cloud9, but it'd be interesting to see. So I can see a 5th or a 6th ranked cost here. And Niles wants to carry. And Iconic is just good. Iconic is really good. Even in their losses, he is there. Ironically enough, so is Potluck, who is the Immortals jungler. But Iconic's been on point the whole time. They are trying to force a carry with Niles, and I'm okay with that because he's young and he's learning. I'm okay with him trying to learn by trial by fire. Keep trying to carry picks. It's going to work. And I think this is where it works. And I think when you get a carry pick against Immortals, you're able to pick apart them. And you have a team that's really aggressive, like Insanity wants to fight a lot. He'll rotate up top and he'll try to stop you, and he won't. And I really like this idea a lot. This is a team that I think is sneaky good for a big GPP play, guaranteed prize pool, something that's a big pool of people. First place gets paid out the ass, and I think that Golden Gardens can really help capitalize that as a stack. It's primary or secondary with you. I think they have potential to really break the slate here, mainly because I think Team Liquid is going to dismantle Dignitas and not even be bloody. I think EG might just put it to FlyQuest and not be bloody. FlyQuest hasn't died much in their losses. They haven't killed much in their wins either. So they've been not really blood hungry. Even when we called the FlyQuest EG, upset on EG, which by the way, called that, it wasn't bloody enough. So we cashed, but we didn't cash very well because they only had 16 kills in that, right? I think the same thing happens here. If EG wins, it's going to be more surgical. They're going to kind of get a first 3 kills, get a big lead, and just take them down. And then 100 Thieves CLG, I think it might be the same thing there, where 100 Thieves won't take them very lightly this time. They're going to outdraft them. They're on the blue side. They're just going to beat them to death, get out there in 25 minutes even, right? And then Cloud9 TSM, we already had the stack here paired with them, right? Again, I do get worried about the lack of blood there. I think Cloud9 should win that, but I think if anything has a chance of going to a crazy 2020 slugfest that lasts forever, it could be Cloud9 TSM. Don't doubt Power Evil late game when this team fights, right? So that could be an issue one. I like these stacks a lot. Moving on to Sunday, we have our first one is we're going right back to 100 Thieves again, right? Demonte and Closer. They're playing Dignitas. Dignitas dies a lot in their losses typically. Demonte and Closer should be able to give it to Soligo and not Dardoch, blank on the jungler's name. But I think that Demonte Closer had been everywhere on the map all lock-in long. I don't think that changes at all. They're on the blue side. You better ban Talia, right? And if you ban Talia, you got to make sure you ban Olaf. You got to make sure you ban Pantheon. Well, you just ban 3 junglers, and now they get free reign and first pick. I can see Closer going with an Udyr on the second wave pass through. I can see Demonte getting a prio pick first. I can see a lot of things going very badly for Dignitas very quickly. And I can see them trying to fight their way out of it the whole way through, because that's kind of what they do in their losses. And the final down with we have is Impact versus Svenskeren. We are down on them a little bit, not necessarily down on them, but we just really like 100 Thieves originally. We like Zen and Vulcan. We like a lot of different things other than EG, right? In this one, you get Golden Guardians, who we love because of their aggression, because Niles will always try to carry. In this instance, though, Impact won't let him carry. Impact's played in the world stage. He's good. He's been there before. He doesn't have to win lane. He just has to make sure that Niles does not win lane. And the rest of EG can just take over. Svenskeren's a really smart jungler. And as much as I like Iconic, I think Iconic will still have a solid game, solid performance himself. I think Svenskeren's going to realize I just have to keep Niles in check. If he's in check, I'm going mid. If mid's going well, because Perks can handle himself, not Perks, because Jizuki can handle himself and be very aggressive with it too. He can get a first blood. He can get a lot of early kills. I can go bot lane and make sure that definitely is getting going too. Give him a Kaisa pick. Give him something he can carry on. And I would be very worried about this matchup. I think that they can run away with it. The problem I have with Sunday is, I mentioned this beforehand, a lot of very one-sided matchups. I have Demonte and Closer estimated as my second pairing for jungle mid, and I have Impact and Scarin estimated as second pairing for top mid, or top jungle. I can see it going either way, honestly. I can see them being as high as 1 and as low as 4, maybe even 5, right? But I think the problem is that Sunday, these games should be blowouts. There should be very little room for the upsets to come in. And that's what I'm really interested in, is can we find an upset there? I didn't feel really confident in COG to put him as an upset, but I do think when I think upset, I go, okay, who has a chance to beat you on a best of one, um, and who's on the blue side, which I really like a lot. And that's Cloud9, Evil Genius, 100 Thieves. Get those upsets out. I haven't seen an upset in red yet. I have, and until I see one, I'm not going to buy it. Cloud Logic Game versus TSM, I like that. Because FlyQuest versus Team Liquid, I don't like that. So if you're looking to try to pair 100 Thieves or an EG, I can see getting a bit unique with a CLG. Get them, there'll be one low ownership to make you nice and different, and there's a chance that they can maybe just give it to TSM. That'd be really interesting. Maybe a fresh start in top lane just keeps Huni down. Maybe the different styles of TSM just keeps conflicting with each other, because I think that's part of their biggest problem, is that PoE wants the resource. He wants to be passive early in lane, and he wants to get big and then team fight, where that's not what Spica wants to do. That's not what Huni wants to do. They want to get out there, be aggressive, not run it down, but just really get in your face about it. Lost is still getting it going. Sword Art wants to rotate. These are a lot of conflicting strategies, and I think they'll get it. They'll get it in a place where they're okay with it. But I really do believe they have to figure this out, and maybe CLG can catch them not able to figure it out yet. They can just capitalize on that. So the question in the chat we have is, you think the Gore Drinker nerf will affect top a lot? Yeah. I mean, maybe not top itself in the top v top matchup, but I think it's going to affect top in the team fights a lot. I think you weren't crazy to run a top lane captain originally, especially if it's someone like Impact who likes to run a Renekton, go Gore Drinker, get in a fight, heal back up, be involved in all 5 kills. It was really, really likely. I think that now I'm more off top than I was before. You heard me say it last week. I'm a big fan of the ADC captain, the jungle captain, and the mid every now and then. I'm usually not on top or support captain until I'm trying to get really different in like a, whatever, $70,000 prize pool, 20K to first thing, where you got to be as different as possible. I'll get different there and go with one of those, maybe a 4-2-1 split. But overall, I think the top laners will be either more on a tanky role that can't do damage, or going all-out carry and try to split push this, or maybe just get huge in team fights. And I'm not willing to risk that right now. I don't know how Renekton's going to be with Gore Drinker nerfs. I don't feel super confident in Impact's ability to pivot into another strong side pick. He's going to have to, I think, though. He's going to go with a Gnar, and so far, Gnar's been either very hit or very miss. LPL, very hit. Everything else, very miss. So he ain't the shy, you know? So we'll see what else they can take up there. I can't see a ton, though. But that's our down with picks here. Enchanter, I think. I can see that. I feel it's going to be a lot of hyper carry, ADC, protect the comp. I can see a Lulu coming out big. I can see a Karma, maybe. I can see a few different things there. It's going to really, I mean, time's going to tell this one, because I don't know if I think about this last matchup. Can Impact play a Lulu efficiently? Can he play a Karma efficiently? Actually, let's find out really fast. We'll find out live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. So we look at Impact. Let's take a look at last year and see what his champ pool was. Season 10, he played a lot of Ornn, obviously we already know that. A lot of Mord, Shen, Set, Aatrox. Gangplank could be interesting. Gangplank has been pretty popular right now in the new patch. It's interesting because he's not known as a carry. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem is, do you put him on Ornn duty? Probably not, because so far they seem to want to play strong side top. So you almost have to put him on a carry, and maybe he can do it. He just was never asked to do it. But other than Gangplank, he has Kennen, Renekton. Ironic, the only 3 times Renekton all last season. 5 times so far already this year. Volibear, Zac, Jace, a Lulu, which he had a KDA of 0 and they lost. So probably not Lulu coming out. But I can see him going with either Ornn and be on tank duty with someone else carry, or I could see a Gangplank, maybe even Aatrox come out there and try to get on carry if they really don't want to have the strong side be the bot line and they want to play through top. That's probably the only thing I can see. They've shown that they really want to play strong through top, so I can see them putting him on an Aatrox running Gangplank and saying, this is your duty right now. And even still, I think he can be effective on it. I'd like to see a bit more. His Gangplank is kind of looking at his brief numbers. He's 1-2 with a 2.6 KDA. Not great, not bad. I think I have to go with Scoredrinker nerf. I think he has more ability to pivot off Scoredrinker. I don't know if he's going to still get played or not, but I think if he has a much better ability to pivot on something else than the Renekton does, I think the more likely answer is Gangplank probably, or just Ornn Duty and going tank. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. The Academy so far has had a lot of really interesting picks. Azir, by the way, in the mid lane, has nothing to do with Impact himself, but there's been a lot of Azir play in the mid lane on both the LPL games and Academy, so we'll see what happens there. But it's going to be a lot of big changes happening this weekend. It's going to be a whole different game. There's a lot of different changes. Let's move on to the down on, though. So, we're starting off the Friday again. Down on. Well, here's Alfari. The big reason why is because I think he's going to be a really high cost. He's been the highest costed top laner in most weeks, most slates right now, and it's been deservedly so. But he also has a shockingly low kill participation. Lower than I actually thought it would have been. I'll pull it up really fast just so I have like actual concrete numbers for you guys. But he hasn't been involved in a ton. He's just dominated lane, which is great. But dominating lane and getting a bunch of creep score up, that doesn't win you DraftKings slates. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'll clearly look at this one last here. So, Alfari is a 46% kill participation, where everyone else is either 58.5 or higher. Tacticals at just about 70, Santorin at 60, Quarter Day at 69, nice, and Jensen at 59. So I think if we're talking about a stack that we're going to start off with, I don't mind Team Liquid necessarily. I do mind Team Liquid using Alfari in the top lane. I think there's other ways to make sure you're squeezing out as much kill participation as possible. So if there is a high kill game, you get that high KPs out of there. I think simply talking about top lane alone, I do like the idea of going with maybe even a Licorice if we think that FlyQuest might upset TSM, or going with a Niles if you think he's going to shove in Fudge and upset, or go with a Fudge. Maybe they're just going to shut down Niles and keep going. But I don't think that the kill participation is high enough on Alfari to justify his cost right now. I think you're much better off going to their other positions, not because he's bad, because he's priced like the best, and he is, but he's not getting the points like the best. The rest of the team is far outpacing him as far as points go. So that's the first one. Again, not saying you shouldn't stack Team Liquid. I actually love them as a stack here, just not necessarily him as part of it. Number two, definitely. I mean, you kind of had to know this coming, right? If I'm high on FBI and who am I low on? Definitely, who I think is probably the fourth cost ADC. Probably one, a high cost, a little bit higher than he probably should be. And two, I think you're going to see a lot of ownership from him. Everyone saw him going absolutely ballistic all lock-in. They're going to say, well, let's run him again. Not the bot lane you want to run him into. They want to fight you 2v2. They want to kill you 2v2. They want to keep you down 2v2. They'll make you win some other way. So I can see a world where they don't even let him breathe. Ignor's going to be struggling to try to make hero plays. He'll get punished, definitely be on his own. And he might be playing weak side still again. Like, I just don't see this being, I don't see it being a very good situation. Sorry, I passed up one question. So even with Sterix getting nerfed on top of Gordrigger, you might be right. You might be onto something there. I don't know. I really don't. That's the kind of interesting part. I think gameplay is probably the more likely answer because of that, even more so, but we'll see. Top lane's going to be interesting because there were a lot of interesting item changes. But, yeah, definitely, I would fade him. Even in the case EG wins, I don't think it's through Deathly. I think it's through other lanes, not through bot lane. I don't think they're going to win either, but it's my opinion. We'll see what happens there. I think that's a good way to get different, is to stack 100 Thieves and fade EG. Either or, both. I mean, both kind of comes naturally. But then for Saturday, we have Someday. The big reason why I'm not super high on Someday is because I believe he'll be, again, high-costed, second highest behind Alfari probably. But I do think 100 Thieves is going to win very hard through the jungle and the mid. Again, Paul Butler's getting benched. What does that mean? We're not really sure. They've been scrimming with half Paul Welter, half Academy guy whose name I can't remember offhand. He's Canadian. I can't remember. That's all I remember. I remember seeing the Canadian flag there. But they still don't have Brox in there right now. I can see 100 Thieves going, we're going to win through the mid lane here. We're just going to run them down and We're going to go from there. And I can see it working. I can see that their bot lane not taking Wild Turtle very lightly this time and giving it to him and making sure that they put him down. And I can see a lot of kills coming through the mid and bot. I can see Sunday also coming into lane and being great. Or you can be on Orin duty also, right? And have a ton of assists and 1 kill. So the top lane is really hard this week. I go with people who have a history of playing carry picks. Not that Sunday can't. He can play kind of whatever you want. But he also is very comfortable on Orin duty, on big tank duty, where I think you'd want closer on a carry pick. You want on something he can go nuts with. I can see a Seraphine coming out. I like Renewer on a few different picks in support too, so I think I can see a few different things happening, but I don't think you'll see jungle or support on tank duty. I think that'll more likely be going to top lane this week, so it's going to be very hard to find someone who's not going to play tank duty. Golden Guardians, Niles. And we're moving on to Sunday. The reason why I'm moving on to Sunday is because Saturday is hard. There's a lot of things I like, and I usually cover 5 down-ons here, so Sunday is a little bit easier for me to cover down-ons because there's so much to like about Sunday. There's also things that I get nervous about on Sunday. The first one is Jensen. I think Jensen is going to be a really high-costed mid laner, probably number 1. Perks has been kind of faded as far as price goes. PoE has been hot and cold. We'll see. But I can just see Jensen being the number 1 costed person. Not only do I think that they're going to sort of dismantle FlyQuest, quite frankly, I think the only chance that FlyQuest has is that they have had pretty solid mid lane play in Palafox. I think he plays safe. He plays smart. I don't think he's going to give up those early kills, and I think that you're going to have those early kills coming out of Johnson, who's very hot or cold, and Diamond, who had some really rough games and really fantastic games. And I think you're going to find capitalization on those sides, as well as Licorice, who finished off the first weekend without having a single kill. I can see Alfari just running him down. That's a good Alfari play. We're going to find places to play Alfari and justify that first overall cost. That's somewhere I justify it. Licorice has struggled at times, and Palafox has not. He's looked really good a lot. So I would fade Jensen. Again, not because I don't think he's great, not because I don't think he's going to win lane and just dominate, but because I think that they're going to win through the other lanes, and he's going to be a really high cost, not justifying that. You can fade him as the first pick, go with another stack for that for mid laner, go a bit cheaper, and get just as much effectiveness, maybe even more out of kill participation. So I love that pick too. And the final one is a Blaze Olive on Sunday. There's not much to say about this one, honestly. It's something that it's probably obvious. I think that Golden Guardians, if they stand any chance at all, it won't be through mid lane. Blaze Olive is solid. Zuke is solid and aggressive. I think that if Gold Guardians wins this, again, they're going to go through carry in the top lane, and they're going to try to win through bot lane. I don't think you're going to want to go toe-to-toe with Jizuke. I think Blaze Olive's going to struggle there, and I think that they're better off sending Iconic to top and to bot to get those rolling. He's cheap, and I like the idea of a Golden Guardians stack as a kind of a more original underdog take, but I don't like him being involved in that. I really do like the idea of going with maybe an Iconic as your captain, with Niles, with some other bot lane, maybe in their team. If we think they're going to win, maybe they just win through taking a ton of towers because they'll split push Niles to the top and the bot while Iconic just keeps on rolling, maybe a 1-3-1 push. So I think if we're looking at ways to get different on Sunday, it's really hard. The one I'm interested in is potentially Golden Guardians. They're on red side, which makes me a bit nervous, but if they do win, I don't think it's too mid. Quite frankly, if you're trying to get different on Sunday, you're going to have a hard time, honestly. I think CLG has a bit of an outside chance. I don't see any opportunity for Immortals, Dignitas, or FlyQuest. I really don't. So you're trying to get original with these 2 games, and they both are going to have pretty clear win conditions, right? You're going to try to win through Niles, through Iconic on the EG Golden Guardians, and for TSM CLG, you're going to probably try to win through Finn. Because you're not going to want to go toe-to-toe to PoE in lane. You just won't. It doesn't work out very well. Maybe Wild Turtle is the way to win, too. But I think mid lane is going to be really interesting right now because it's going to be not the win cons you expect. Usually people see people win through mid lane. It might not be happening now. Junglers are really strong. They command a lot of prio bans, a lot of prio picks. And ADCs have been, while not the biggest champ pool lately, stronger than ever. I also get nervous on CLG. I didn't put them here as far as the mid lane fade goes, but the reason why I do get nervous about CLG in the mid lane too is because PoE, Azir, I think it can be really good. I think if Azir is the play right here, mid laners should be wary because when he's strong, he's really strong. Very high ceiling but high skill cap needed to be good at that, and PoE can do it. Plays his comfort too a lot. So those are the lineups we're looking at here. A lot of really interesting things going on. I can see. I think Friday, Saturday's gonna be really interesting. Sunday, we can. I mean, I would probably lean more towards the double ups and the cash games, the head to heads. I get a little nervous about running too many original picks here. Maybe in like a 3 max entry, I'd have 2 chalky picks with favorites, and then have one with maybe a Golden Gardens win or a CLG win. But that's going to be a first or last kind of lineup there. I think there's a lot of things that have to go right for those to happen, and it does make me nervous. But I do think we're going to learn a lot from seeing EG 100 Thieves on Friday, especially EG the blue side. We're going to learn a lot from seeing these interesting matchups we didn't get a chance to see originally. How does Niles perform against Fudge? 2 rookies, 1 real rookie, 1 played pro, came in here, said the NA is dumb, and struggled since then. So a lot of really interesting things happening here. I am really interested to see who comes out of this on top. My prediction here is Team Liquid is going to go 3-0. They play the easiest schedule probably, and even if the 3-0, they're the best team probably in my opinion, but don't get too ahead of yourselves on that. They're playing Immortals, Dignitas, and FlyQuest, who in my projections are the 6th, 7th, and 10th team. So we'll see what they have in good matchups, but I'd look for them to be 3-0. I would look for 100 Thieves to be 3-0. I look for EG to be 2-1 at best. I can see a scenario where they're 1-2 and get another upset out there. And then TSM just kind of run through the ringer, right? They get FlyQuest game 1, which is great. Then they get Cloud9 and then CLG when they're on red side. CLG is going to just improve, right? The more they get their players visas coming in, they get a fully stacked team, the more they're going to get better. They're not a bad team. They are going to struggle at first because they don't have a full team. They don't have their full 5 right now. But I can see them ending up fighting for that 6 or 7 spot. I think you have your tier 1, which is Cloud9 TL. Tier 2, I think, quite frankly, is one of these on their own. Tier 3 is EG, TSM, and that's your top 5. Tier 4 is going to be FlyQuest, maybe Golden Gardens. We always fade them. Even last year, they outperformed, right? And then CLG. And then you have the bottom dwellers after that, right? But I think that those 3 can all surprise us a lot this year. I will go back to the down with really fast. These are stacks I feel good with. There is no stack here that I think is going to be the first costed stack. I think we're going to be able to pick a lot of really, really interesting 7-man rosters without sacrificing much at all, because these are all strong picks, and the highest we're estimating here is 2nd on Sunday. Friday and Saturday, you're looking at 3-6, 3-6. Like, there's a potential we can just get everyone we want and be under salary. Really, really interesting stacks there. I think there can be a lot of really interesting play there. So that is going to be. Oh, we don't need a window view. That's my schedule here. It's going well. I want to make sure I keep a track of everything. We'll go to the full screen view here. That's going to be our show for today. Because it's Wednesday, it's a bit quieter here in chat. I totally get it. It's an off day for us. It is week 1, so I'm really interested to see kind of what we have here. Hopefully, if you came in late, if you had a drop off early, whatever it might be, just take a look at the YouTube, because I do think there's a lot of interesting plays here. And I say take a look, see what the stacks are, see what you might want to fade. Let's make some money week 1. We've done pretty well through lock-in. A few surprises here and there, but overall, we've called some really good upsets so far. Looking to keep it rolling. Looking to keep it going right now through week 1. Week 2 starting up. We'll be back on our Thursday schedule. We'll go through what we learned last week. We'll hopefully, with a regular season schedule, have some prices by the time we get on. And we've got to earn those tendies. Boiler Tribe's in the chat with tendies. We got those tendies coming in. We're looking for them. We can't wait. LPL, LCK, we're off of it now. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of running an LCK roster, and they make a change, and I'm asleep because it's 2 in the morning, and BDD's not starting, and I have a lineup. There's a first place lineup if I know the mid laner. I don't want to talk about it. Gamsu, whatever, Gamasubi, whatever his name, and Teddy's switching off, Faker and close. We're off. We're off LPL and LCK. We're on to LCS because we're in the regular season now, baby. 5-game slates, 3 times a week. This is going to be awesome. LEC heating up. G2 is not first place, not for long, but still, Rogue looks really good. Schalke looks really good. I called Schalke from day one. I said, don't be surprised if they're not representing Worlds this upcoming year. Maybe in a 1 or 2 seed even. Wow, BD didn't start. No, he did not. BD did not start. It was announced at about 1:30 a.m. and I was asleep because I have a child and I go to sleep at a reasonable hour now. So yeah, he didn't start. T1 pulled a ADC swap midway through the series. It was a bad day. Called the TT upset of E-Star. Called it. E-Star outscored him on the loss. What's going on here? Rat lost and scored 200 points. I don't want to talk about it. Got me going. We're going to win money in LCS this weekend. That's all there is to it. We're going to come in here, diamond hands showing, next Thursday, talk about all the tendies we won. Everyone in chat, I want to see how many tendies you win next Thursday because we're all winning money. Follow these stacks. We're all winning money this weekend. It's going to be great. Until next time, we have an 8-day break. Not 7 this week. We have 8 days. Diamond hands in the chat. Love diamond hands in the chat. We're going to be holding. We're going to be holding everything. Holding all of our tendies when we win all 3 slates, all the cash mashups, all the GPPs. I want a 20K to first in my chat. Probably not, but maybe. We'll see what happens. But until then, thank you so much for joining. Here's my shameless plugs. I have my Twitter accounts up here, my personal one, and then the down with the draft one. I have Discord below. Check out the bio in the bottom. We have the Discord and the YouTube. And the Twitter too. Follow them all. Join them. Right? Follow here. If you're not following here, why not? We had a person I missed last week. He might have followed afterwards. I'm going to go ahead and rerun it, though, so we can see it. Give you the respect you deserve. Mr. Patrick212, thank you so much for following. I very much appreciate it. Hopefully you're here again today. Like I said, lighter day. I get it. It's an off day. We're going to be back at it next week, though. My energy didn't feel like it was there today. I didn't feel like I was mentally prepared. I need a full week break to get back into this, back jazzed up after a rough week last week. Because we couldn't play LCS because 1-game slate is ridiculous. But thank you, Mr. Patrick. Follow here if you haven't followed yet. Get on the YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. Tweet at me. Get in the Discord. Let's talk. I'm on it. I watch the games. You put a message in there in the game day, I'll be there. Sharpness. Always there. The dude knows LCS. He just gets it. So we're all there. Boiler Tribe's in there. Let's all get in there. Not going to keep on delaying any further. If you haven't followed by now, I'm upset with you. If you haven't subscribed by now, I'm upset with you. If you haven't joined the Discord, I'm a little upset with you. So think about that. Think about that. Until next week. Have a good night, everybody.